Hello everyone and welcome. You know, isolating the muscles is something that you actually need to do when you're doing facial exercises. And a lot of people actually ask me, why do you have to isolate the muscles? It's so important that we do it because it's a twofold thing. First, it holds back the wrinkles when you're doing the exercise. The other thing it does is create resistance. We isolate it by placing firmly your fingers on whatever area you're working or exercising. And then, because it's not moving, the rest of the face is moving around it. The rest of the muscles are moving around. Okay, so for instance, when you're isolating around your mouth, for instance, you need to isolate the corners of your mouth. Some areas of the face are more susceptible to wrinkling than others. And the corners of your mouth are one of those areas because they're used a lot for talking, they're used a lot for smiling, for frowning, and all sorts of things. So you need to isolate when you're doing these exercises. So what I want you to do is just place your fingers on the corners of your mouth. And as you do that, I want you to start moving your mouth around. Just move it around a bit. So as you're moving it around, you will feel the corners of your mouth moving, and you'll feel that muscle, the orbicularis oris, moving. When you start strengthening that muscle, it becomes an amazingly strong muscle, and it supports all the other muscles that are attached to it. What you need to do is know how to isolate. So as you press, I want you to feel that muscle underneath. I'll get Dorian and I'll show you what he looks like, what that muscle looks like. So you can see here with Dorian, the muscle that's around his mouth. So it's quite a large muscle, this one that's all the way around his mouth. It's quite a large muscle there. Also, there's a little indent here because there's a little bit of a indent where it goes to the corner and then it starts again underneath. And this is why it's so susceptible to wrinkling. There are muscles that are tucked in underneath it. And when you tuck something in underneath, where you tuck it in, this is across this area here, across my knuckle area here, you can see where there would be an indent. So you have to be really careful when you're doing it. It's the same when you're isolating this area here. The procerus sits on top, superficially on top of the other muscles. Okay? And again, it creates an indent. It creates it's like an indent. So if anything that sits on top, the sides or underneath it or around it will have an indent. So this is why you need to isolate. So with the center of your eyes, you need to isolate either side because that is where the lines generally happen because, again, the muscle sits on top. The other muscles are tucked in underneath, and where it's tucked in underneath are where the lines start. So there are certain types of lines on the face that are easier to get rid of than others. And this is why this area here is often difficult to get rid of because it's a different type of wrinkle around your mouth. The procerus is the same sort of wrinkle. So what I want you to do is place your fingers again and just gently purse your lips in and out. So your fingertips are over and you should be able to feel the indentation that's right here where the muscles meet, where the orbicularis oris meets. So you should be able to feel those indentations. And when you're doing any of those isolating movements around your mouth, now you know how to isolate it properly. Because some people put their fingers out here. Some people don't put them in the right spot. You have to place them in the right position to get the best out of the exercise. So this is why it's so important to isolate the muscles correctly, and so important why you have to do it. And again, you know, people will say, well, why do we have to do that? Because, you know, we're lifting and it's doing this and that. It holds back the wrinkles. Can you imagine if we did exercises that were lifting the cheeks all the time and the wrinkles that would form? Okay, by isolating, they're not able to form. And it even makes it better because they're now the isolation is causing resistance, which then helps the muscle grow, because it's in resistance that helps the muscle grow. So there are so many reasons why you have to isolate the muscle. And it's central to the Facerobics program. So it's really important that you get a hold of this very simple principle of how to isolate the muscles correctly. The more you learn how to do face aerobics and the more I teach you the little subtleties of how to do the exercises, the more successful you'll be in regenerating yourself and successful with the exercises. Because a lot of people, you know, they try it and then they'll say, no, it doesn't work. But it's not working because of a number of reasons. And this might be one of the reasons. There's so many factors to doing the exercises, and I want to get them all out to you, but I can only do it one video at a time. And I hope you sort of appreciate that there's so much to it. And this is one of the things, one of the factors that will really help change the way you do your exercises. If you learn where to place your fingers and how to place your fingers, and that you understand why we are isolating the muscles. In understanding why we do something, it helps you move forward to the next thing. It helps you go, oh yeah, right, that's why, okay. And there's no barrier. It helps you get over the barriers. So these are the reasons why I do these types of videos, is to help you understand why things happen. Okay. Please do remember to subscribe to the videos, because when you do, you get all these great tips on how to do the exercises. And also give me a like. I'd really appreciate it, because it actually helps you, move up in the ranks of YouTube. So I'd really appreciate it if you could give me a like as well. All right, guys. Well, you have a lovely day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Today's video is how and why isolate the muscles of the face against the movement. So it's like an isometric movement. Now, when you isolate the corners of your mouth, there's a big muscle called the orbicularis oculi. When you isolate the corners of your mouth, and when I say weakness, there will be lots of wrinkles in a horizontal, vertical. It is actually the second principle of the Facerobics program, but it is central. Isolate the muscle. It is central to the, isolation is central to the Facerobics program.